So Elizabeth Warren is back out here doing her best Bernie Sanders impression. Let's check it out. So, in a recent appearance on Rachel Maddow, Elizabeth Warren was trying to do, once again, her best Walmart brand Bernie Sanders impression with absolutely no shame. Let's check out this clip, and if you will, go ahead and get your barf bag ready in case you need to throw up. It's probably going to make you sick if you're a Bernie supporter. Just check it out.
Great to see you. Thank you.
It's good to be here.
I keep expecting you to be hoarse.
No,
You're fine.
no, I'm fine.
I have to ask you about the selfie line thing. I realize that this is now a thing that you do at every event, every town hall.
Yep.
You stay afterwards, you take pictures with everybody who wants a picture taken with you. Last night at that gigantic event, it was like 4 hours.
Yep, little over.
I assume this is something you cannot do forever because of the amount of time that it takes, because of the energy it takes. Also, I imagine security concerns. I mean, are you thinking about that?
No.
Okay.
Because this is how I see it. Look, we know in this country what is broken. People know this. We've got a government that works better and better and better for a thinner and thinner slice at the top and is just not working for everyone.
Bruh. First of all, let's go ahead and start at the obvious point. I was expecting your voice to be hoarse. Really? Really, Rachel? Really quick, before we go in on Rachel, Ro, this is your champion. This is the woman that you were praising. And it's funny because I did a video a while ago calling out Ro Khanna for celebrating Rachel Maddow, a woman who spent 2 years taking digs such as these at Bernie, and he's the campaign co-chair of Bernie Sanders' campaign. This is the woman also propping up Bernie's, at this very moment, his biggest competition and the one clear roadblock to the nomination outside of obviously the rigging by the Democratic National Committee. And yet, people are going to expect us to believe that Elizabeth Warren is this progressive and she goes on to Rachel Maddow's show and is received with open arms. Question, when has Rachel Maddow ever received any progressive with open arms? Explain this to me. So if Warren is acceptable to Third Way, if Warren is acceptable to Center for American Progress and Neera Tanden, if Warren is acceptable to MSNBC and Rachel Maddow, how long is it going to take for people to realize that Warren is not your friend? She's a snake. She's a snake in the grass and she's waiting to bite you. I don't know how else to make that clear. And we've been saying this since February. Well, I've been saying it for longer, but basically since she's announced, we've been saying this. Me, Pasta, Fiorella did a show while I was in California explaining to people that this is exactly what was going to happen, and everybody thought we were being too hard on Warren. Well, how about now? Because I've seen a lot of Bernie supporters defending Warren. And I've even seen Bernie Sanders himself defending Warren, because that's just the kind of guy he is. But when Warren had a chance to step in and say, that's not fair, Bernie's been campaigning extremely hard, of course his throat is hoarse. Because I guarantee you, people, Bernie does more campaigning in 6 hours than Warren does in an entire day. I guarantee that. I've seen Bernie hit 3 or 4 major cities in a day, do 3 or 4 major rallies in a day. So don't tell me that it's, he should, and not to mention the weather changes. So like, it's fine if his voice is hoarse from literally campaigning all the time for the last, 3 or 4 years straight. Well, really since 2015. He hasn't stopped campaigning for 4 years. Unlike Warren. Remember, Warren, he tried to get you to run and you didn't want to because you were scared of Hillary. So then, the selfie line. Oh, you do these things where you hang out and you do selfies, and that's so awesome. Like, where'd you get that idea from? Bruh. First of all, selfie thing started in 2015. And it started with Bernie Sanders. And I know because I was at one of his first selfie lines. I was there. I was at the selfie line. And that was the thing. Like, it's funny because if you're in the progressive movement, like on the activism side, if you don't have a picture, like a selfie with Bernie, if you don't have like some receipts of you being at the early rallies or being at the 2016 rallies, and you try to come in and all of a sudden you're trying to make a name for yourself out of literally nowhere, people are immediately skeptical of you because we're like, we need them receipts, bro. Where the Bernie selfie at? Where the Bernie selfie, or at least a selfie with some of the activists that were with Bernie. Like, nope. If you didn't have one of them selfies, from that selfie line that Elizabeth Warren invented, then you couldn't be taken seriously. I don't know how long it is going to take for people to realize that Elizabeth Warren, she is wearing progressive clothes, but she's like the big bad wolf. Not the big bad wolf. Well, I guess she would be a big bad wolf still. But the wolf from Little Red Riding Hood. She's like that. The grandma, oh, I'm Little Red Riding. And it was her centrism is just as ugly. Like, you remember when you was reading Little Red Riding Hood and you were like, bruh, you trying to tell me you can't tell this is a wolf? Because it's very clear that this is a wolf, Little Red Riding Hood. Do we need to go take you to my eye doctor and update your prescriptions? I don't know if they had prescriptions back then, but we're going to assume that they did have some. They had some type of glasses back then, at least in the storybooks, because it's fairy tale. You can make whatever you want out of the fairy tale. So, like I was saying, and you were like, yo, okay, this is a wolf. I don't care if she got on your grandmother's bonnet, Little Red Riding Hood. And this is, once again, what we have been screaming from the rooftops. We were looking at Warren. We're like, okay, she's voted for all of Trump's military budgets. She's never seen a war she didn't like. She's one of the most unproductive senators in the Senate. She's, when she had the chance to run, and quite honestly, had a good chance to win. And not only that, she actually had a chance to win over progressives back then. She didn't do it. She admitted the election was rigged. Then she took it back. And as early as very recently, by the way, she took it back. She said it was fair and that Hillary ran a hell of a campaign. She literally ran one of the worst campaigns in the history of any front runner ever. But hey, whatever. I cannot stress enough. I cannot stress enough how clear it was that she was a wolf in the progressive bonnet. Okay? And the wolf was so ugly. The centrism in her was so ugly that any Little Red Riding Hood progressive shouldn't have been able to tell what big corporations are donating to you, Elizabeth Warren. What big green bombs you have, Elizabeth Warren. How big of a theft can you pull on Bernie Sanders and all of his policies and all of his rhetoric and all of his popularity? How big of a thief can you be? Mr. Grandma centrism. Oh my. Are you going to steal from Tulsi too? Because I've seen you do that. Remember when you literally took Tulsi's chicken hawk statement and took out the chicken and thought that it was going to be your statement still? Bruh. At the end of the day, if progressives, and even, I would even say the left-leaning liberals who were fans of Bernie, but because they see that Elizabeth Warren is more quote-unquote popular with the mainstream and is more widely accepted, they think that she's enough like Bernie to change the narrative as far as like progressives being able to win office, because they think that Bernie can't do it. Because the only reason you would think that Bernie can't win, by the way, is because he'll be cheated. And if your idea, if you think that, oh, Bernie can't win, and I've encountered this. I think all of us, if you're a progressive, have. Like, Bernie can't win. Why? Because they won't let him win. Okay, so you're saying they'll let Warren win, and that's why you're cheering for her. Yeah, okay, so why do you think they'd let Warren win? Well, she's more acceptable. Well, why is she more acceptable? Well, oh yeah, because she's much more likely to do what they say. That's why she's more acceptable. Duh. Bruh. And I want to say this real quick. If you're a Bernie Sanders staffer, and I know one of y'all, one of the high name staffers, is not participating in any of that nonsense, you know who you are. You know who you are. You ain't having none of it. We've talked about it. But the other one, Mr. Ro Khanna, stop praising Warren. Chuck Rocha, you are a very lovely gentleman. You are awesome. You are very, you're a very happy human being, and I love how your like magnanimous personality is very in your charisma. It's like it's contagious. But when you were on that interview with The Hill, you said, "Oh, there's not that much difference policy-wise between Bernie and Warren." Oh, there is an incredible difference. Up to 50,000 off of school debt, 100% of school debt canceled. 100% of medical debt canceled. 100% of your school paid for. Israel-Palestine conflict. Bernie isn't the best, but he's at least better than Warren at the bare minimum. Holding Wall Street accountable rather than just wagging your finger at Wall Street. His recent Housing for All proposition. Bernie is not only miles ahead of Warren on policy and accountability, he's lapped her multiple times. And this man clearly had no intention on running for president the first time. He had no intention on running for president. He did have intentions on winning, but when he decided to, but he had no intention on running for president. At the time, he was so humble that he was like, "Warren, please do this." And you wouldn't do it because you didn't, I don't want to say you didn't have the balls to, but but you didn't have the conviction and the integrity to do what you knew was right because you were thinking of the next political calculation and your next career move. The moment she linked up with Hillary and it became public, which is recent, that should have been the clue to all of Bernie staffers. Okay, that's enough. No more giving Elizabeth Warren any type of attention. No more giving Walmart brand Bernie. Hey, once again, I'm not judging any of you for eating Walmart brand. I'm just judging you for shopping at Walmart to begin with. Look, it's neither here nor there, but leave Walmart brand Bernie in Walmart where she belongs with all those big Walden family donors, okay? All right? Leave her alone. We'd love to know what your thoughts are about this. Leave a like and a comment below. Share this video. Let everybody know Walmart brand Warren needs to stay in Walmart. And always remember, more than anything else, people, find your balance. Peace. Hey, don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you like that segment of Mikasa Sukasa. Also, you can help us upgrade the studio and take this show on the road to cover the on-the-ground politics that you love by clicking on that GoFundMe link in the description and donating literally anything. Anything helps. Also, you can follow us on Rockfin, on Twitter, and on Facebook as well. And hey, more than anything else, people, always remember, find your balance. Peace.